FSR1, FSR2, FSR3, and FSR4. Yeah. Steam Deck is a bad boy, man. This is the 64 gig model that came with 64 gigs of storage. But now this one has 2 terabytes of storage in it. Yeah. And that's the handle. All the Steam OSs, your Proton hotfix, your experimentals, your Proton GE Protons. Yeah. All your FSR updates. Yeah. You know, see, updates, they show up like any given second, any given minute, any given hour, any given day, any given week. Yeah. This Steam Deck is a bad boy, man. Yeah. Worth it. Best believe it, man. Worth it. Yeah. With the LCD models, you got to put 2 terabytes of storage in there. The OLED models, you got to put 2 terabytes of storage. Oh, yeah. Definitely worth it, man. Oh, yeah. Update data show up, man. So, yeah. FSR1, FSR2, FSR3, and now FSR4. Yeah. We couldn't find a game the Steam Deck couldn't run, man. Steam Deck is a bad boy. Okay? You're like, okay, what are you getting at? Okay, got this little article here from Tom's Hardware. Listen to this. Listen to this. Latest FSR4 source code leak lets you run AMD AI upscaling tech on nearly any GPU, no Linux required. Yeah. Steam Deck, man, it's a bad boy. Not only that, you can install Windows on this. Windows 10 and 11. Yeah, on the 64 gig models, 256 gig models, 512 gig models LCD, and also the 512 OLED and 1 terabyte OLED. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a bad handheld, man. So yeah. Still going. So anyway, what do we got here? So it's a bit hacky. It's a big hacky, but with some tweaking, older GPUs get a nice upscaling option. Maybe it's will make BI4 playable. Huh? Says here the latest version of AMD's Fidelity FX, typical known as FSR4, delivers a remarkably superior result to FSR3, making it a big win for those who can run it. But that privileged group is limited to folks with AMD Radeon RX 9000 series GPU based on the company RDNA 4 architecture. Or is it? Says, as it turns out, you can actually run FSR4 on nearly any GPU thanks to AMD itself leaking the source code last month. Says here, strictly, let me cut this down. Sorry, Batman. Stop running your mouth. There you go. Mr. Wayne. Yeah. Mr. Wayne, man. Yeah. Anyway, so you're messing around here. All right. Now, let me do this. It says here, this says strictly speaking, this isn't exactly new news. As far back as June of this year, people were hacking FSR4 onto last generation Radeon RX 7000 GPUs, but that trick was fragile and required Linux. Today, methods is quite easy and should, in theory, work on virtually any modern GPU in the vast majority of DirectX 12, DirectX 11, and Vulkan games. We'll get to the specifics in a moment, but we should explain exactly what's going on here. And then it says, when AMD open sourced the FSR SDK, including FSR4, it mistakenly published the full source of FSR4, not just the SDK portions of it. That meant that anyone could take the FSR4 code and do whatever they want with it, because the source was published under a highly permissive MIT license. Notably, alongside the FPS version of FSR4, that is a standard version that the Radeon RX 9000 card normally use. There was also a version built to use its INTS data types. INTS is supported on virtual all modern GPUs, so it is much more capable. Yeah, and then it says that was uh-oh, it will pop up. Get out of the way. It says here that was a source release, so it took some heroes to come along and compile the source into a binary form that gamers could actually use. That hero turns out to be /u/athlete dependent 926 on Reddit, who provided the compiled DLL files that users can simply drop into games with FSR3 support to enable FSR4. Yeah. Says here, keep going here. It's taken a bit of doing in our testing. Simply swapping the files won't enable FSR4 the way you might do with DLSS. However, using the Upscaling mod, you can specifically select FSR4.0.2 in the mod UI. Upscaler is a multi-game mod similar to something like Reshade or a Special K. Installing Upscaler to the game executable directory. Run the setup _windows.bat quotes or quote setup_linux.sh quote, depending on your operating system. And then see, when I'm rolling, this phone want to act up. This is why I got to get a new tablet. Yeah, 2 tablets are better than 1, by the way. Yeah. See, now I got to go through this. Come on, technology, stop messing with me. Got to keep you in the loop though. Yeah, got to find a way to put content out, man, through the highs and the lows. Yeah. Anyway, now back to this FSR stuff. Before I was rudely interrupted here. Let's see. Where are we at? Where are you? FSR4. Still looking for it. Yeah. I'm almost done though. Give me a minute. All right, now where was I at? I was at the DLL files. What paragraph was I at? Okay, come on now. Show yourself. Oh, here we go. Now, we did that. Okay, let's start here. It says, start here. Upscaler is a multi-game mod similar to something like Reshade or Special K. Install Upscaler to the game executable directory. Runs quote setup_window.bat quote or quote setup_linux.sh quote, depending on your operating system, and then replace quote AMD_Fidelity FX_Upscaler DX1 DirectX 12 .dll quote with the one form. It says /u/athlete depending 926 Reddit post. After doing so, launch your game, press insert to open the Upscaler UI. Select FSR3.x as your upscaler, and then in the FX settings, select FSR4.0.2. It's a little unintuitive, but it absolutely works. And it says, how do I know? Well, I tested it first on a Radeon RX 7800 XT connected to a 4K display, and then on a Ryzen AI Max Plus 395S integrated Radeon 8060S connected to a 1440p display. In both cases, performance is a little rough. We saw about 4.1 milliseconds to upscale to a 4K on the RX 7800 XT, while the Radeon 8060S takes about 2.3 milliseconds to upscale to a 1440p. For those unfamiliar with frames times, 60 FPS equates to a frame time of 16.7 milliseconds. taking on an extra 4.1 milliseconds for the upscaler drop. From the 60 to about 48 FPS, but we didn't see that kind of performance from either GPU because we were testing Cyberpunk 2077 in RT Ultra mode on the Radeon hardware. And then anything else says here, still performance remains broadly playable on both GPUs, and the final image quality with FSR4 while decidedly inferior to DLSS4 is nonetheless an undeniable step up from FSR3, and in fact also superior to Intel XeSS, at least the DP4 path available to non-Intel GPUs. In Cyberpunk 2077, FSR4 clearly has fewer artifacts and less aliasing, though it's not flawless. We still saw some trailing on distant objects and animated textures. We'll throw it for a loop. Only NVIDIA transformer-based DLSS4 has resolved these issues. And it says, of course, some of our problems could be down to the fact that this is rather a hacky way of implementing a full unsupported upscaler. But regardless, this does seems like a great option to have in the toolbox of Radeon and ARC gamers who don't have access to the latest DLSS models. A great many games have implemented FSR3 upscaling, and the ability to simply replace that with FSR4 could be an excellent option if you already flush with fine frame rates. Kudos to the enthusiasts and modders who made this trick possible. And that is that. So yeah, FSR4 on who? Steam Deck. Yeah, bad boy, man. Yeah, anyway, we got 7 comments. What do we got here? Friend said this. He said, you know if NVIDIA or AMD would just tell MS to generate DirectX 13 or a new version of DirectX 12 with upscaling in it, we would not have to faff around with this much of around this much for something that actually makes sense to have. Leaving NVIDIA proprietary FPS formats, MS just needs to say, well, let's use common FP4/8 and implement this thing for everyone. Same with Chronos, but no, AMD, come on, give this to Chronos like you did with Mantle. Do it. And then who is this? AMD lover said this on Cyberpunk 2077. The GTX 980 works with FSR 3.1. And then who is this? Jake said this. You know, if NVIDIA or AMD would just tell us to generate DirectX 13 or a new version of DirectX 12 with upscaling in it, we would not have to faff around. Oh, he's responding to he says faff around this much for something that actually makes sense to have. Leaving NVIDIA proprietary FP format, Microsoft just need to say, well, let's use common FP4/8 and implement this thing for everyone. Same with Chronos, but no, AMD, come on, give us give this to our Chronos like you did with Mantle. Do it. But then he responded, he says, Microsoft has an upscaler of their own. It's called Automatic Super Solution. It only works in Windows 11 and only on Snapdragon X powered Copilot laptops. And then who is this? Mr. Majestic said this. So I guess using Init 8 rather than FP8 would result in noticeably worse output due to quantization. Glad to have gotten the 9070 XT as not much faster than my 6800 XT for gaming, but destroy it for the AI stuff I use for photo processing, like Topaz and Gigapixel AI recovery mode. Generative AI would run at least 10x faster, I did say. Yeah, they guys are sharing their comments. Who else is this? And then user test said this. RDNA 3 was tested at 4K, and RDNA 3.5 8060S at 1440p. Is there's anything in RDNA 3.5 that could give it an edge, like more inits, that's INTS per Q, or basically identical? Too bad the XDNA2 NPU is unusable for this purpose. But then he's responding to he also responded to Mr. Majesty. He said this. He said that's not the case from what I've heard. The quality is there, but the performance take a hit. It is often worth it for RDNA 3, even with this early, possibly incomplete version. I didn't look at RDNA 2 testing, but I assume no miracles there, and it will never get official FSR4. And then who is this? And then Hef said this. Also interesting in the reply. he's responding to our user test. And then Bummer said this. The only thing that makes Borderlands 4 playable are hopes and dreams and tears of fans, but it will have use where other upscaling tech is inferior or just plain broken. Yeah, you learn a lot in these comments. These guys have shared their thoughts and opinions. Let's see, who else can I pull up on this comment section? Let's see, what's this? Let's see what's anybody else? Yep, that's it. So yeah, FSR4, man. Yeah, FSR 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, FSR4. Steam Deck, man. The modders, they serve their purpose, man. They have skills, they got talent, they got attributes, you know, and they know what they're doing. So one of them took up the challenge, and then the rest is gonna follow suit with this to see how far they can push it. Yeah, so there'll be more update about FSR4 coming soon. Yeah. So yeah. Other than that though, but another chapter in FSR technologies, man. AMD they're on it, and I don't think they accidentally leaked it. They just leaked it because that's what they had it. I think they had it planned. They were going to come out first and said FSR4 was only going to support like RDNA 4 and like higher GPUs, and try to make it look like it wouldn't work on a Steam Deck or nothing. Then all of a sudden they just let the cat out the bag. Like, okay, let him have it. So the modders are gonna do some more testing on this and see how far they can push it. And when more news break on this, I'll definitely let you know. There's another article on this too with FSR4, but that's on over at OC3D.net. Yeah. So yeah. Tom Hardware has one, and then OC3D has one. I don't know if Tech for Gamers or WCCF Tech has an article on it, but Tom Hardware and OC3D do that. But for now, you guys are good. So FSR4, there'll be some more testing to be done on this, you know, because they're gonna be the modders that like to do this stuff. They'll contact the main the one that figure this out, and then communication start, and then let the work begin. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Glad I can give you the news. See you next time. Like, dislike. It's part of the YouTube package, you know. So yeah. Anyway, enjoy, folks. See you next time. Peace.